How's it morning, everyone? Welcome back. We're here in Springs Luminosity Hair Salon. And we're going to quickly replace the plastic Razz rack to steel rack because it's just giving constant problems. Because it shows you that your plastic rack, although it's been welded on the back of it, the gate motor is basically not within reach. So you're not getting full traction. What happens is that your plastic nylon rack teeth are breaking off. When I loosen it, I'll just make a video on the other side. So the way to go is steel. Let's quickly do it. So in total we've got 3 sections. There you can see the Razz rack where how it's worn off because it wasn't running completely on the gate motor pinion gear. The Razz rack can basically only be placed on very, very light steel sliding gates. You can see it's worn off. So we're just going to fit the best steel rack. But what we also find is that one of the gate wheel bearings are worn. So we're going to quickly just look at it. Now look, hopefully the camera catches it. We'll have the front wheel and the second wheel. But the right hand side you can see the shaft is turning, which means that bearing is shot. The other thing is, gate is so small, you don't need four wheels on it. Just need 2 wheels correctly positioned. Right, back to the steel sliding gate wheels. You can see there's play in the wheel. That's going to cause problems. That's normally when the bearings are shot, and this one as well. So let's quickly see if we can get them out. Right, the steel sliding gate wheels. How do you know that the bearings are shot? Basically what happens is the bearing starts locking on the main section, and then the whole wheel turns with a pin, and then it wears out the whole slots, and that means your gate has got movement up and down, horizontal, vertical movement up and down, and then it presses down onto the gate motor pinion gear, and you get errors and fault conditions and troubles. You can see these bearings are only turning, that one's not turning, locked a little bit. That bearing is still turning. So from the four bearings that you can feel, that one's locked, and that one's also locked. So what you do is you take your old wheel, put it on a 32mm socket, you punch out the bearing. and then you tap in the new bearings. What you do is you get rubber seal bearings 6201 RS. That's a serviceable bearing, which means you can take the rubber seal out, you can put in more grease. It will extend the life of your steel sliding gate wheel. There you can see the factory grease in a bearing. The gate wheel is not high revolutions, which means that you can put in enough grease there. So that's your bearing, rubber seal, remove it, and then we can pack in new grease. Then your bearings will last 20 years plus, easily, if it doesn't stand in water in the rainy season. So you can see the wheel shaft pins are worn out. It's no use putting in these on new bearings. So what you do is you take a 12mm round bar, you just slightly grind it off so that your wheels sit nicely on it. Then you cut it off and you spot weld them into the steel gate wheel holder. There you can see it from the 4 gate wheels. Only this pin, this wheel has been still able to turn. All of the other shafts turned with the wheels and wore out. Right guys, if you look here, get the fingers out the way, you can see that the right hand side gate wheel is basically a newer, less worn off compared to the one on the left hand side. But we're using the left hand side gate wheel and not the right hand side. The reason for this comes back. This is a round bar track, so these wheels are basically worn better compared to the right hand side wheel, so you're going to have less movement on the left hand side wheel during due to wear. If you look at the installation that we did in Discovery regarding the round gate wheels, I've also addressed it there and I've shown it on the videos. That's why we're using the left hand side and not the right hand side. Here's an interesting object or aspect. Sliding gates are moving objects, and everything does wear out over time. So we've quickly replaced the wheels and we're testing it. If you look closely, just there, alright, go back. That casing of the rear wheel is catching on the concrete. There you can see it's been wearing off over time, and that can obviously give you troubles. You don't want that. Make sure that it's smooth and free running at all points. So we're basically ready to weld the steel gate rail onto the steel sliding gate. We've done the joints on it. We quickly painted it primer paint on the reverse side, but this is what we want to alert you to. So on the left hand side we've got 10 brackets that are supplied with steel rack when you buy it. So they expect you to secure a 4-meter gate with that amount of brackets. So that's 10 brackets in total. On the right hand side, that's our 10 brackets. So the amount of brackets are still the same. Obviously we're going to need more on this steel sliding gate because it's longer than 4 meters. So, but that left is 10, right is 10. So we've got basically nearly double the amount of gripping power to keep our steel gate rail into position compared to what is applied when one buys a steel gate rail. Right, we're done welding steel gate rail into position. Then is quickly painting steel gate track, steel gate rail. You can see how nicely it looks with all of the support brackets. So we're still busy painting, but one of the most important aspects is play between your steel gate rail and the gate motor pinion gear. There's a factory specification on what the clearance needs to be. Okay, so right, steel gate rail rack welded into position. Now you can set the limits. The gate motor in gear, press and hold the long one until it says limits. Right, setting limits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 9 it will start crawling. Then it will run through the cycle. So most of the times when you cannot set limits, it's because of the plastic Razz rack is not correctly into position, and then the gate motor jumps up and down on the pinion gear, doesn't find a proper end stop, and then it will say no origin found or limits not set. But we'll be back, we'll test it.
Either way, print hulle.
Alright, we're done.
Stuur dit aan.
Let's quickly have a look. You listen at the gate motor, you'll hear that there's no labouring of it, there's no vibration on the gate motor. It will last another 10-15 years if it's well maintained. So guys, if you want this, give Pottie a call, 083 778 2288. Check out smartgates.co.za and check out Exquisite Security. Thanks for watching.